What up, brothers? It's Club King returning for another new review for my channel on the figures you see in front of you. And as you can see, it's Hot Toys, Guardians of the Galaxy, Rocket and Groot set. As you can tell from the box in the background, it is the twin pack, so it does come with the exclusive items including the Groot extra sculpt and also the baby Groot in the flower pot along with other items. So it is the full set, although I am going to score them both separately. I have also posted on Facebook that the shout out game is in effect. There'll be people posting as we speak, trying to get a shout out at the end of the video. Just to talk you through the initial pose, pretty much got them both in an upright position. I wanted to sort of display the scale, which I do have a little problem with. I'll mention that in a minute, but I did want to show Groot holding Rocket, as you can see there. I might as well mention scale now. I know it's a funny one and it doesn't always apply because I think Groot obviously changes size through the film, so they could have represented him at any size. But I think the fact that the box, if you look at the size of Rocket compared to Groot's head, it's pretty much all that's in shot now. But you compare them to the actual figures, you realise the scale's off somewhere. But like I say, it's not a massive issue. I just wanted to mention it because I noticed when I looked at the box and the figures together that either Rocket is oversized or Groot is undersized, whichever. I'd also at this point like to say a massive thank you to Joe in Hong Kong for picking me this figure up. Did it me at a really reasonable price. I got the price of release day and it was laughable, to be honest. I know a lot of people thought that that were worthwhile and did pick it up at that price, but I thought I'd sooner not review that figure than pay £350 for it. So I waited. The price fell within about 3 days, which disgusts me a little bit, to be honest, because if they can do it that many days after, why couldn't they do it on day of release? And then when I compared the price between Anthony and Joe, Joe's were just a lot better. I had to pick this figure up from Joe. I will post his contact below. So yeah, if you do want to pick figures up in the future, that's for you to talk to him. Anyway, that's enough talking. Let's get on to the review. Like I say, I'm going to score them separately, but they will be sort of shared scored. So obviously the packaging, the source material, so on and so forth. I'll show you the pose while I talk about the source material. If you've watched me Gamora or Star-Lord review, you pretty much know I'm going to give them both a 3 out of 5, simply because I rated the film as probably just above average. Really good cartoon film. I've watched comic book film, entertaining in places. Sometimes didn't go into depth enough about the characters. I only know them from the film, so there were no real explanation as where Rocket had come from, what his backstory was. Same with Groot. You pretty much, I think they'll build that as the films go on. I would watch it. I have got it on Blu-ray. I will say I didn't go to the cinema to watch it because I didn't know the source material behind, so I didn't go mental about it. People rank it very highly in the Marvel films, and I don't know if I share that enthusiasm. But I'm more than happy to score both a 3 out of 5. Moving on to packaging, and there's not a great deal to say about it. It's basically just a massive size slipcover box, very reminiscent of the Gamora and Star-Lord box, sort of the letter G with the characters sort of poking through. So in this case, as you see, it's Rocket and Groot. Quite nice artwork, although nothing really to see on the sides or the back. It is what it is. It's average quality. It's the average design, just bigger. Very imposing. You guys could pretty much estimate the size of my cabinet and you can see that the box pretty much fills it. So not much more I can tell you other than it gets a 3 out of 5. Right, moving on to the facial likeness, and I think we'll start with Rocket. As you can see as I move in, I've just got him in an upright position, pretty much in the line-up position. I can move in on the head sculpt. Now, I think in general they've done a really good job, or as good a job as they could have done using this material. And by that I mean, because it's sort of soft fur in real life, or that's what it's supposed to represent, but it's done in an hard sculpt, it's always going to come across looking a little bit toyish. And by that I mean, when I look at it, it reminds me of when my daughters used to have them Sylvanian family type toys, or you know when you go into Toys R Us and there's them hard sculpts like dogs and gorillas and shit like that. It's got a little bit of that. I don't know, that's what it makes me think of. Also the fact that you see the articulation points, again it comes across very toyish. I'm not overly convinced with the expression, because it's kind of, when you look at it from there, it's kind of got a insane smile about it, not vicious enough, nor neutral enough. So it's very dependent on the pose. I will say one good thing is the whiskers, they do stick in really well and are really nice, soft, and do feel to scale. But like I said, because they haven't used a fur or an hair covering on top of the sculpt, I don't know, it's pretty much not 100% accurate, and there's no way it could be. It's like when they sculpt a beard on a person, you're always aware that it is just a sculpted beard painted. So when you cover a body with this same thing, I don't know, you never confuse it with something that's real. It's always very apparent that it's just a sculpted item that's been painted. Although, like I said, what else could they have done? Just put a bare skull on and then aired it, and then I suppose you're going to get complaints about the hair falling out or the hair not laying accurately, and so on and so forth. So like I said, I think they've done, I do sympathise with Hot Toys a little bit. They've done the best they could have with the materials they were working with. So on Rocket, I'm still going to give him a 4 because he is instantly recognisable, but like I said, maybe it would have been a better effect. Have a search through Facebook and look for the new custom Teen Wolf figure that's coming. That's got a real hair on the sculpt and does come across more realistic than this. That's the point I'm trying to make. On Groot, however, because it basically represents wood and bark, that is an hard item, so it does look more accurate in the sculpt. I think they pretty much nailed this sculpt, and on both face plates. This one's got a sort of look of sorrow in his eyes. The eyes have got a lot of depth. Paintwork is really good. It does show kind of moss on the bark, so you do have the shades of green. Yeah, the sculpt, it's just really good. Also, as well, bear in mind that both of these characters in the film were both complete CGI. So, again, they took a computerized graphic and turned it into something that you can actually touch and hold. So again, Hot Toys have done really good work. On Groot, I would give the likeness a 5 out of 5, and that's a pretty easy 5 out of 5. But on Rocket, like I said, just because you're always aware that his fur is just sculpted, I would have to knock him down to a 4 out of 5. I am just going to quickly show the faceplate exchange on Groot. So when you take off the neutral sculpt, it's pretty much just a cutaway that fits onto this section, and then you would have the screaming head, which again has the cutaway in the back that then just fits onto there. And again, there's no weakness. It still looks really well sculpted, really well painted. A lot of depth and life in the eyes, as you can see. Just again, really good work. And again, depending on the pose you put it in, it is very, I don't know, very characteristic to certain parts of the film. Obviously, if you've got him in that pose, it just don't look right. But if I go to a more aggressive pose, the head's going to fit a treat. So like I said, just to go back on the scores, I said a 4 for Rocket and a 5 for Groot on facial likeness. Rolling on to the outfits. Obviously, Rocket only has a small outfit and Groot doesn't have an outfit at all. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to score Groot's overall body appearance. So not how the joints move, but the appearance of the joints and how the body functions and so on and so forth. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's start with Rocket again. I think you'll have pretty much seen this outfit. It is just like a short-legged sort of overall or coverall in America. In orange, it does have some worn sections and also the sort of black padded knee and inner thigh. Does get quite good flexibility through sort of to do the splits inside, but all in all it is pretty stiff. You see, it is sort of a crop sleeve and does obviously go around the back. Not put it in the best pose actually to show you the outfit, but you'll have seen the pictures anyway. Or if you've obviously seen him in a pose straight up and down, you know what I'm talking about. The outfit looks good. It doesn't function that well, and I think that's mainly down to the fact that the strapping, instead of going with a faux leather, they've gone with quite an hard plastic. So every time you try and move him, it's sort of the brace section and the strapping section in here and down the leg. It stops it articulating how you want it to go. Like I say, it does look pretty good, but I don't know. I think if they could have done it better using different materials. Again, this is hard plastic over the shoulder, so the arms won't go straight up because this will stop it. And I don't know. It's like there is materials out there that would have been better than the ones that they chose, so that knocks the outfit down a little bit. And again, there's not much to it. They do also include some of the little buttons which you would need for replacements around the upper part of the outfit, so that's like suggesting that they might fall off. Just to talk about the pose, as you see, I've got him with a rifle, double-handed, and I will say the rifle is a bit of a bitch to get into his hand, so I'll talk about that again when I get to the accessories. But all in all, it looks good. It's not going to blow your mind because there's not a lot to it. And like I say, the fact that they could have used better material sort of knocked it down a point as well. So on the outfit, I'm going to score Rocket a 3 out of 5. Moving on to Groot, I'll show you the pose first, so it'll give you an idea what I'm going to talk about. He is pretty much just a tree. So you're going to expect that he does have the same design throughout, sort of twisted roots and bark and moss sections on. As you can see, the green wash over the sort of the flat browns that the body's made up of. It does have the little twigs sticking off him in certain places, which you would have to be careful you don't snap off. Now, what I do like about this is, although there is a very basic articulation system to the figure, they've masked it pretty well. They are still obviously, like there, obviously there. This is quite good because this is movable, so it does cover where there would be a massive split down there and there. Because the articulation through the chest is masked quite well by these big sort of pectoral sections here. Again, going down into from the shoulder, or sort of into here, into the upper arm. You see, it is masked pretty well. Same down, not too noticeable. The neck articulation again, because of the sort of the cracks in the twisted branches and roots, or whatever you want to call it, the bark lies, it does cover it up really well. Not an outfit as such, but does look really, really accurate to the film. As I said, it's not massively articulated, so there isn't a lot of articulation points, so I don't know. It does look good. What you get is good. Also, I will mention, while I'm talking about this, the way that the front faceplate blends into the back is pretty much unnoticeable as well, so that, again, they've done good work there. So yeah, the body, all in all, I don't think there would have been a way they could have done Groot better. Other than this, they would have had to use a softer rubber or a flexible vinyl, so to speak, and then I think you're risking rippage or wear and tear over years. This is like an hard sculpt, and they've done a really good job with it, to be honest. But like I said, there is still noticeable joints, but where they could have done Rocket better, I don't think they could have done Groot any better. So on the look of the body on Groot, or instead of the outfit, I'll give him a 4. Like I said, Rocket only got a 3. Moving on to articulation. Before I start, I'll just quickly show you the pose. Got Groot pretty much dipped, still with a screaming expression, and then Rocket on his shoulder, holding onto his head with the rifle in hand. So quite a nice pose, quite characteristic of both. Just to pretty much display the articulation. Now, I'll say this, I'm going to go through both, but I'm going to tell you, neither one of them are anywhere near as articulated as I would like them to be. Very, very limited, very, very low points of articulation on both, and it's like you're pushing it to get to that dynamic pose, and it just won't go there. The joints are pretty tight, which is nice, and they do feel very stable, but like I said, the movement in them is just not enough for me. I do like natural poses, which sometimes I think Rocket is hard to put in a natural pose. Groot is, obviously, he only has a small amount of joints, and again, I know they've done it as well as they could have done, like I said, but I don't know, you're very, very limited to how you can pose them, I think. So we'll talk through. Groot pretty much got his feet, which look like the bottom section of a tree going down into the root. Both are on a ball joint, so can be completely turned. Does swivel, dip, pivot, so that's not too bad. Moving up to the knee, obviously it's just a single joint knee. Disguised quite well, the fact, particularly when it's upright, because the sort of upper section of the leg covers the hinge quite well, but you're not going to get it much deeper bent than they are now. Moving up into the crotch area, this is pretty good. Like going into a splits and also like into a seating or kick position. As you can see, the ball joints inside there, then covered up with this this movable section here. Also, it's slightly flexible on the side, so they can be pushed out of the way so his legs will bend. Moving up, there's no ab crunch as such, although there is some movement in the joint across there. Up into the shoulders, very basic design, just movement on a ball joint in there. A single bend elbow, standard wrist pegs, and you do get spares. The hands do swap on and off quite nicely because, whoa, you motherfucker, naughty raccoon. Yeah, the hands do swap on and off nicely because they are quite a soft pliable material. So yeah, moving up, there is movement in the lower section of the neck and the upper section of the neck, so the neck and head articulation is pretty good, but again, limited like the rest of the figure. I'd struggle to score anything better than a 2 out of 5. A 1 would be, yeah, there is some articulation. A 2 would be not a great deal. And that is the case. Again, with Rocket, I don't know, a combination of the outfit restrictions and the small amount of posable joints, or the limited articulation point, should I say, makes him quite hard to pose. If I show you, the shoulder just sits on a ball joint, a single bend through the elbow, although there is swivel in there as well. The hands and feet are all on their own. Pegs do swap on and off really nicely. Neck articulation at the lower section and the up, but because of the shape of the sculpt and also the collar, very, very limited. Moving down, I think there is an ab crunch, but you pretty much can't do it because of the strapping on his outfit. There is movement through the pelvis and at the upper leg, again limited because of the outfit. Same with the knees, the padded section really stops a deep bend in the knee. The feet do swap on and off nicely, and there is good movement through the ankle. There is also a foot where the toes dipped forward, so it could sound like that, and then that is just a flat foot. Again, I could only give it a 2 out of 5. They're both worse than I expected them to be. I knew they weren't going to be great because you can see the articulation points on the photos, but when I did get them out, I'm thinking to myself, there's not a great deal of poses I'm going to be able to do with these two figures. So like I said, I think it's only fair that I give them both a 2 out of 5. Rolling on to the extras, and I know this is the set and you would need the set to sort of get everything that we get here. But what I've tried to do is put a divide down them to show that they both bring stands, and sort of this half would be what I would class Rockets and this half would be Groot, just so I can give you a score on each figure. So before we start, let's look at Groot. So I've got the glowing hand on, reaching for the light. Looks quite nice. Looking down, pretty much upright again. Notice he does have the diorama base, obviously the nameplate on the front, and because of the shape I would think it fits nicely in with the other Guardians figure. Rocket also has the diorama base with the nameplate. Moving up, you see him with a rifle over his shoulder. Now the nitpick with the rifle, I found the best way to do it would be to get the hand load in hand, which is on the gun as you can see, but because of these sort of blade sections here, and because of how it curls around here, it's really hard to get that section of arm onto the hand. And to do it with the hand attached to the arm already, I just find it were a nightmare. So the gun does feel a little bit fragile as well, so be really, really careful with that. It is a nice gun, well painted and sculpted obviously, but a bit of a pain in the arse to get it on. Moving down, looking at Rocket's stuff, obviously you get his instruction manual. Groups are packaged with it, so there is a separate set. Obviously they sell these figures separately, but I just don't see a reason for buying them at all, but I'll come back to that. The baby Groot in the pot is just a sculpted piece. It's not bendable, quite detailed, nice scale. Moving forward, get a set of fisted hands, set of relaxed hands. Then you get a set of flat feet and a set of curved feet. Obviously the opposites are on him, as you see, a set of hands for holding the rifle. So let's class that as Rocket stuff. Rocket, I would score, I'd give it a 3, and that's really because The diorama base is good. The fact that there is a way that you can join the bases together as well would be a shared addition. The Groot would be Rocket's accessory as well, I would think, and obviously a decent selection of hands, and the swappable feet I think is a good idea as well. So yeah, I would give Rocket a 3. Moving on to Groot, like I said, the glowing hand is an extra. Moving down, obviously the relaxed faceplate. Moving down to his diorama base. Moving down again to his screaming head sculpt, which I think if you don't get that with a single version, again, why would you buy the single version? If you're going to buy both anyway, it just don't make sense. Moving forward, set of bendable hands that do work really well on this. I've used bendable hands before from DID and they never seem to work right. These are really good. A set of claws, obviously he's got the right one on. That's the left one. Some wrist pegs, and that is it. So not a bad selection, but like I said, when you break it, divide it down into a selection of extras each, it don't look as much as you would think. But like I said, the fact that the single versions have even less than this, I would say avoid them, particularly while they're going for prices like 170 each, 180 each, 190 each. I'd say forget about it, just fucking cut your losses and buy it set. Just don't pay a stupid price for a set. So yeah, Rocket I'd give a 3 out of 5. Groot, because of the faceplate and the fact he has got a diorama base, I'm going to be generous and give him a 4 out of 5. I'm going to roll straight onto value, and I sort of alluded to this in the unboxing. I was first offered this set on release day for £350. I quickly said no, not happening, so I tried another contact who came back with pretty much identical, maybe would have saved me about a tenner. Again, I said no. I was then offered it by 3 different people to review, and I says I'm not going to review it while it's at that price, because by me reviewing it at that price, I'm sort of condoning that I agree it should be that price, which I don't. In 3 days, I was then offered this set again for £350. I refused it, somebody else I know refused it, and then somebody took it at £310. I was then offered it by another contact for even less than that. Now, I don't want to give that price away because the way I understand it, I don't think anybody else would have got it for that price. It were unbelievably low, taking into account that it was shipped, and it was shipped with EMS. It got stuck in customs like everybody else's, but it did get released without charges. So I've got to thank Joe for that. Like I said, he supplied me with that. He's on my Facebook list, and like I said, there will be an attachment in the description box below. It beat Anthony's price, all ends up, no doubt about it. So the value on this one, the value on mine I'm going to give 3, although I bet I've paid a lot less than a lot of other people. But if it would have been the £350 and I would have had to bite the bullet and paid £350, I would have scored the value a 1 or maybe even a none, because it were way too much for what we got. The reason I know it's too much is, if you look back on my Facebook page, I recently sold the Steve Rogers and stealth version of Captain America, which came out around about the same price as this on release. I sold that set and I couldn't get no more than £190 for it for the set, and that set is better than this set. That is how I feel. So that is why I know that this isn't worth £350. So if you have paid that, respect to you, you must have really wanted it, but I certainly wouldn't have. The value on both figures obviously come as a set. I'm going to give a 3 out of 5 and say thank you, Joe, because you give me a more than fair price. Right, so to sum up, I'll tell you, the Rocket got 21, Groot got 24. If anybody got both them scores, then you'd nearly be as good as me. To sum up what I think about the figures, I think if you have set your mind on getting the Guardians of the Galaxy, they're pretty much a necessity to you. I'd just say be careful, don't pay fucking silly prices. Although I am going to say that I have no intention of keeping this set at all. It's not for me at all. So this one will be available. I'm not going to set a price. I'm not going to do Aaron and say I want fucking £400 for it. But what I will say is, you know, I've got a lot of friends through the Facebook groups, and I've already been offered to buy this figure about 20 times. I'm just going to say best offer gets it. So like I said, I'm not going to ask for a price. Just whoever offers the most gets the figure. That's the fairest way I can do it. Right, let's have a look who's wrote what. Game time. You know the score. Don't forget, state the score for Rocket and a score for Groot. You'll need both for a shout out. So let's have a look. Let's see what's fucking happening here. Right. So let's move on up. So what we're looking for, 21 for Rocket and 24 for Groot. No. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. No. No, nobody's going to get both. I'm pretty confident. I haven't read through it, but I'm pretty confident that nobody's going to get both. Let's have a look. You can see your name. You don't need a shout out. You've still appeared in video, you lucky bastards. Who else would do that for you? I'll tell you. Fucking nobody. You know it? That lad ain't even got a fucking clue what's happening. Fucking must have been smoking. Puff, puff, give all day. Puff, puff, give. Not a fucking idea. Let's have a look. No. No. Nope. Scrolling slowly. I don't know how many I've got. That lad's close, but no cigar. Look at him. Scores all over fucking place. Silly bastards. Yeah, there, 24, 25. No, no. Yep, this lad's done a fucking essay and still got it wrong. By a fucking mile and all, silly bastard. No. Nope. No. Some are close on one of them, but then a fucking mile off on other. I don't know, not very clever, some of these lads. Oof, nearly that lad. I'm not shouting your name out, but close. Oof, no. Nope. Oh, this lad's not far off either, not far off at all. Just one out on Rocket. He didn't even know which is which. Fucking wise up then, you fucking idiot. Close again. Look at that lad, he's close. I'm not going to mention though, that lad's close. Yeesh. Yeesh. No. 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 Oh, no. Fucking hell, come on boys. Yeah, here we go. Gone into detail, still got it fucking wrong. Who's that? There's your name, read it yourself. I'm not fucking reading it. You don't deserve it. Now I'm putting enough for him. You fucking one score. He scored it for set. That's what he's done. I know he's done. Although I stated it at the beginning, but it's too much to expect for people in your group to actually read what you fucking write. Am I asking too much? He's only get answer for Groot. Fucking idiots. And he's a mile out. No respect. Hold on. Hold your fucking horses. Here we go. There is a smart cunt in here apart from me. Can't see his fucking thumbnail though, so I can't talk about that. Looks like Darth Vader, back of Darth Vader's helmet, having a look at computer, doing a little bit of browsing, maybe watching some Darth porn. Andrew Cook, look at him. Groot equals 24, Rocket equals 21. Well done, pal. I'll be sending you an application in the mail soon. You can apply for my position. You can come and do a full interview with Uncle Clipper. I'll tell you to fuck off. So, yeah, another one close. Let's have a look. Close. No cigar. No. No. One and you got it so far. Fucking take your sends into a corner and give your sends an hard shake. What the fucking hell? No, way too much for Rocket. You've fucking done a wrong one. Give yourself a slap from me. No. I expect an I am Groot somewhere. How original. Have a look. Close, that lad's not far off. Fucked up clown picture, but not far off at all. No. Look at your sends. I hope when you're reading down and you realise how far, he's not far off, that lad. When you realise how far off you are, I hope you're fucking ashamed of your sends. Best name fucking ever. Fuck ho. There, you got a shout out, and that's just for being a fucking idiot. I won't feel proud of yourself for that. Yeah, telling me what to fucking do now, are you? Right, who's fucking daddy around here? Me, last time I checked. And that is the end, no more guessing. So, that one and you got it. I'm fucking disgusted. Now, what I have got to mention is, fucking beggar shout out here. This fucking jabroni, Ryan Smith, and his missus, probably in background, fucking listening. A Friday night, you saddo. Fucking Clipper King on in background. Come in here and sit and watch telly with me. No, Flower, I'm listening to Uncle Clipper because he's going to shout me out today. Get a fucking grip. Next shout out will cost you. Don't forget me shout out. I'm playing game. I need some abuse. I'll fucking abuse you. You're lucky I've never met you. I'll fucking slap your ass and send you on your merry way. Look at him. Messages. Gives a shout out. Gives a shout out. Alright, pal. Gives a fucking minute. Yeah, I've got a life as well. Wanted me to abuse him. Ooh, I don't know what more I can say to you, pal. You've got your shout out. I hope you're happy with that. Like I say, in future, PayPal me some money across, and that's how you get your shout outs. No doing note for note. No fucker else does. So, that is another review done, and I've got to say, it were average in my estimation. I've not pieced it together, but it were average. I had to get a little bit of some off my chest, because I don't like to feel riled up and not say out about it. If I'm fucked off with a person, they normally know about it. So like I say, think on. Think on. Thanks for you guys again for trying the guesses. Thanks for watching the review. The figures are available. Like I said, I can't do first come first serve because I just get asked by too many people. If you want to put a bid in for this and it's a blind auction sort of thing, offer me what you want and I'll let you know who gets it. But for now, this is a Clipper King and I am out of here.